Hello, collective. As I was beginning the video, a jumping spider has made it on my foot. I don't really know what he's doing there, but yeah, he's just chilling. Anyway, we're gonna jump into this reading. Hopefully, you are having a beautiful rising, a beautiful start. And yeah, I don't know. Hopefully everything's been going well. Hasn't been too rough. Hasn't been too, bumpy. But yeah, thank you all so much for all the support. Truly, it is really great. I truly appreciate of it, and it's truly grateful to see. Again, we are doing a movement here to get tarot back to its origins, to get tarot straight, and to get rid of these false prophets, these false people, these devils, these scammers, these liars, even if they don't know that they are, to just rid of them so that whatever damage they've done can be, repaired. Well, it's funny that we say that. At the Eight of Wands coming out in reverse. The Eight of Wands is saying that it is not the time to go. The Eight of Wands is Sagittarius in Mercury. This is the connection of your mind, or the way you're communicating with yourself. I should truly say not just your mind, but your communication with your determination is not being met. So, with the Wands, if you remember in the first mystery of tarot, when we talked about the wands, they have a dual aspect to them. They have the pre and then the spiritual. You can think of the primordial and then the mordial. You know what I mean? The pre-primordial, then the primordial, then existence within the wand. But what it's saying is with the Sagittarius, the built full fire that you have is harming you, or you are letting it just burn up and burn out and not using it properly. Your fuel is not being used right. This could even be, you pouring diesel into the wrong, you're pouring diesel into like a fucking motorbike or some shit. It's gonna break, right? You're messing something up. You're using the wrong fuel, or you're using the fuel incorrectly, which is leading you not to move forward, which is putting you in stagnancy. You're not doing something right. The truth of it is, if you were doing it right, it would have worked. If you're doing it wrong, then it wouldn't work. So there's something in there of what you're doing that's not working. Luckily, we're at the 8. The 8 in numerology is all about that completion. It's not the test. It's not, the putting together finally. But it is the completion of whatever you have. So this could be a resolution in that sort of sense, which is keeping you from moving forward, or this could just be simply your actions and how you've held them and used them that's keeping you from moving forward. The wands on the opposite side of that, since we're talking about the two aspects of it, the wands also indicate the fuel that you are receiving, not just how you're using it. I mean, not just how, just not just what you're receiving, but how you're using it. Excuse me, I had it backwards. But you need to watch out with how you're using it as well. As you see, it's kind of hard to talk. It's not hard to talk about the wands, but it's very easy to mash both of those phases together because of how quick and coincided they are. Well, pro-incided they are. So it's not only the type of fuel, but it's how you're using the fuel as well. Are you using too much fuel for something that doesn't take a lot? Are you overexpending on certain things that's letting you have less energy to move forward with other things? With the 8 of Wands in reverse, it is saying the red light, it is saying stop. With the upright, it would be saying green. If this is like, oh, I want to get in a relationship, what's wrong with my relationships? You're not ready for one. The idea behind you wanting a relationship is not there. You don't really have a purpose for wanting a relationship. You say you're lonely, but a relationship's not going to fix that. And even you know that to a degree deep down. So why are you looking for this relationship? Find a reason why. Go find your fuel and then walk down that path a little bit and see if it's for you. Wands of the Cups. If this is about money, you're not doing something right to achieve money. Maybe you're panicking. Maybe you're doing a bunch of spell work instead of actually doing what you need to do. When it comes down to jobs, maybe you're not seeing your own talents as an opportunity. There's a fuel that you're not using right. You could be shooting for jobs that are going to pay you more rather than jobs that are actually going to be, suitable for you and nurturing to you, which is keeping you from, getting that money. Or, why is my relationships with people messing up? Because you're not expressing, you're not moving something forward with that. There's an idea, there's something about that, that group of people, that energy that you all have together that's old and doesn't need to be there anymore. There's some form of old idea or identification with that, some sort of nurturing and usage that's happening within that group or whatever this is, that's not needed. It's not good for you. It's not helping you out in any way, shape, or form. It's just keeping you held back in that stagnancy. Let me think of some other. If this is about, okay, I don't know. Y'all probably did not hear that, but someone was just screaming randomly. Anyway, if this is about, why, why isn't my business growing, or what's going on with the, why are things being stagnated with the Eight of Wands coming out? It would say, because you're not seeing something clearly. You have a false light. You have a light that isn't made by the divine. You're seeing things through a lens of some sort that's not allowing you to move forward. You're not seeing the purpose or the integrity. You ask yourself a lot, and I know a lot of people do, like, why do I have to go through this? Why do I have to do that? Because you're not seeing the right side of it. You're stuck literally, figuratively, and metaphorically on the left side. You're stuck on that side, so you're not seeing what's right. You're not seeing on that right aspect. You're not seeing on that right side. So you're seeing within a false light. You're seeing things, but you're not sure of how to discern of them. You're not sure of what's real or what's not, and it's because you haven't looked on that right side yet. You haven't flipped that coin around. So, wondering why your stagnancy is happening with the Eight of Wands, is because whatever you're faced with right now, you're not using correctly. You're not being fueled by it correctly, yet you're staying there to try and figure it out when your answer already is internally to move out of it. But you stay in it because you haven't quite agreed internally yet, which was the Mercury, that communication that's happening inside of you. You haven't agreed to move. And if you look up the original sign for Mercury, it is the Achilles. It is an ankle, the Achilles heel with a sandal with the wing coming out. So it's about movement. It's about that god. I forgot which Olympian god that was. Perseus, I think. I don't know. Don't quote me. I'm not tapped in much with my Greek. I need to be more. I need to do more research on that. Regardless, all of it incorporates in this card. It's telling you that your fire is not being used right. There's doubt. Not even just doubt. There could just be a straight up just ignorance, a straight up disagreement. Like, no, I don't like this person. I don't want to be around them. Well, then you won't figure something out. Maybe you have to be around that person to clear up some dirty air, and which is why you aren't able to move past that issue as well. It could be as small and as petty to that, to as grand and as grandiose. Well, excuse my language. It could be petty, but it doesn't always have to be. Okay, but it could be that small, or it could be as grand as a life-making decision. Why don't I feel like I can marry this person? Because there's an idea behind the marriage that isn't right. Either you have picked up on an energy from your wife that's saying maybe, or your husband, whoever, your significant other, that maybe they're not with me for the best of reasons, or maybe you're not with them for the best of reasons. Maybe you're only with them because you know that you'll be safe, that you know that you'll be taken care of, because you don't want to risk the actual truth of what love is, which is that unconditional. You've conditioned yourself into safety netting yourself like that. Maybe that's a thing. That's not wrong. It's a human thing. Just be aware of what you're doing. That's all it is. That ignorance is where well, we'll just say it off. Ignorance, if you break the word down, is two words in it. It's Cain and it's Negro. It is the curse of what Cain put on top of the Negroes, which was false light blindness. If you go back to my channel in the playlist and look up for a video, look in the playlist called Classes, then one of the very first videos is the spell we're trying to break. I go over all of that in that video. But at that point in time, I didn't know of that curse also being of ignorance in the sense of Cain and Negro, and going back and reading the story of Cain and Abel. Not only Cain and Abel, but the second Cain that came along after the first Cain was sent off into the land. Reading all that, you'll figure all these out in depth, because it says it all there. It's interesting. I don't know why people get that whole story messed up so bad as they do, but they really fucking do. Anyway, sorry about that. Little tangent off course. But the Eight of Wands, though, all in all, it's not saying that reverses are not saying things are bad. It's not saying that what you're doing is useless. It's not saying that you're doing something like heinous or wrong in the sense of direct punishment. I'll say it that way, because you are doing something wrong in some degree with it being in reverse, with this card at least. But it is saying that now is not the right time. If you go back from the Eight of Wands to Seven of Wands, which we had the Seven of Wands before, but I like calling back to that when I remember, because it's important. Maybe you can go back and find a message in there too. I remember the Knight of Swords reverse is also relating with this, so this could be another card within that reading. It doesn't matter. All I'm saying here with this Eight of Wands reverse is that it's the Seven of Wands is also in reverse. So you did not wait on the divine. So if the Seven of Wands reverse resonated with you fully, this is hopefully you're not watching this one. Or if you are watching this one, hopefully it's for entertainment purposes, or just to learn more about the card, or to see, or to kind of put some pieces together, because that Seven of Wands reverse to this Eight of Wands reverse is that pattern that happens. And the next card that would pop up would be the Nine of Wands upright, and then the Ten of Wands upright. They wouldn't be inverted, because if they were inverted, that would mean that you're not staying, that you're not allowing that headache through. And with the Ten of Wands reverses, you've dropped all of those burdens. The dropping of the burdens could either mean succumbing to the weight or the other, however, but you know what I mean. It's not just one little bug crawling all over my phone. There's bugs all over the place. Anyway, regardless though, the grand message you can get from this card is that it is not time to move forward. And if you are already having mistakes moving forward, take a step back and stop, because you're moving with the wrong fuel. You might burn yourself out. Are you making promises that you can't keep up, or are you saying things too quick ahead of time? How ramped up are you, and how much of your fuel do you have left when it's actually time to move forward? That's what really you should be thinking on, meditating on when this card comes up, and really just embodying and seeing, like, I might be moving without divine permission from this. This could even be the result of you ignoring, like, the divine saying, hey, do this, and you're like, I'll do it later, and then you not doing it at all. That repercussion, that guilt, that, I should have done it then, that feeling starts from the idea of these wands being inverted, especially when you're working from the Four of Wands up, because that Four of Wands is that engagement. If you're starting off your engagement apart and broken in half and not engaging at all, then the rest of your cycles are going to get, then the rest of your all the way up is going to be fucked up, because you're not connected. You got to go back to square four. The four of every card is the square of everything. It's going to show you, like, hey, this is where you need to be. This is the whole thing. That by the time you get to the 8, you'd have 2 squares, or in the sense of cube, when they connect, because they'd be engaged. So at that point, it'd be excuse me, but you know what I'm talking about, right? We're walking together on this. Sorry. But with the 8, that's the 2 squares, and that's saying that you should be able to have a completed set. That set should be completed. It shouldn't just be 2 separate squares, or 2 loosely connected squares. They should be together. They should be that box, however. But regardless, that is the message. Thank you all so much for the likes, comments, share, subscribe, all the support, all the hypes for the videos. I truly appreciate all of it. The Darker Malachi's York books are in the description. Free Dr. Malachi. He is coming home. So it's time to get, straightened up. It's time to get acts right. Keep your eyes out for false prophets. Always keep your eyes out for prophets, even before this. But, make sure you're doing what you need to do to get on your track, to make sure that you can go to your home, wherever your home may be. It's truly been wonderful. All of my things are in the description: the Cash App, Venmo, Chime, PayPal, the ways to get readings from me, contact with me. It's all there. Thank you all so much. I love each and every one of you, to the moon and back, tenfold and forever. And I will see you later.